No, I was saying fairness. Okay, fairness means that having two people with exactly the same characteristics, if the market is fair, no matter what's their gender or race or religion, whatever, they should earn the same. This is a rough definition of fairness. Discrimination, in its precise meaning, is you have exactly the same qualification, but you earn less because of some characteristics which you don't choose. Your gender.
Statistical data doesn't show if it's fair or not. Or
what I'm saying is that you cannot test the fairness through this test because that also goes to the second item.
But you're contradicting yourself.
How?
Because fairness, you say same productivity, and then you are claiming that this productivity is independent from some factors, like in gender, race, so on and so forth.
No, that's why I'm saying we cannot test it.
No. Then there is no fairness.
No, fairness is an abstract concept. I'm saying I have a hypothesis. Fairness means people who have the same productivity should earn the same, no matter their gender and race and nationality.
Okay, so there is a hypothesis here.
Right.
A hypothesis is that productivity can be
okay.
independent from gender.
Okay.
So
in this app, right? You're right. In this app, right? I understand what you mean.
So yeah, you are contradicting.
No, I'm not contradicting. In the abstract framework, I said all the factors which determine the productivity. I put them on the left-hand side, and I just leave the gender or nationality. But what you are saying exactly the same problem I'm referring, that there are always many unobserved characteristics which are becoming related with this, and we are not controlling for. Right? So I give you a very simple one. If I'm a client and I want to choose someone, choosing between male and female, I know that the female young worker has a chance of pregnant and leaving my project. So this is not something you can control in experience, expertise, CV, etc. But it's back of my head. So at the end, there is one element which is not captured by that. Take the other one. I need someone who should control the accounts. I know that the women are more precise than men. Still, I cannot capture it with any of these things, but it's correlated with the gender. In Europe, some clients tend not to hire Muslims because the Muslims want to fast for a month in a year, and obviously during Ramadan, they are less productive. The client cannot pay him because he or she is fasting, but for that month, he or she is less productive. So these are things which are really connected to productivity, but you cannot control it in these tests. That's why I'm saying that you are always in a loop which cannot finally give you a definite answer whether we have discrimination or not. We opened the discussion, let's move to the second one. I guess we discussed about the concept of discrimination. Theoretically, we say that there are two types of discrimination. We call the first one, maybe it's my categorization. I say the first one is the discrimination coming from prejudice. What does it mean? It means that even though I know that these two people are exactly the same in terms of productivity, because of my personal preference, just personal preference, I want to prefer one to the other one. So I hate, I don't know, Iranians, I hate male, all these things. This is a real discrimination. There is a second one, which is called rational discrimination. This is an interesting concept. Rational discrimination looks like a discrimination, but indeed is not discrimination. We talked about that, I guess, one night, until the midnight in your house. You remember it? What do you think of, what it brings to your mind? Rational discrimination.
Like the example you gave about Muslims.
Yeah. So you are not discriminating people because you hate them. There is nothing, you're fair. But from experience, you know that there are some elements in some type of people. There is a study, that's an interesting study. There is a study shows that, politically very incorrect, I guess, so we know that the African Americans on average receive less credit for housing than the white Americans. This is study's fact. And then they go and look at the branches of the banks, which the head of the branch is himself or herself a black person. Again, they see the same phenomenon. So it's not the phenomena that the white people are, discriminating against the blacks. Even blacks are giving more favor to whites. So this was something, okay, so this maybe not discrimination, maybe something. So the black people maybe have less income, I don't know, bad credit history, whatever.
Are we moving into the discussion later on this?
No, we can discuss because I'm just progressing.
I don't really know whether you want to move out of this market analysis framework.
No, I'm not going into
Feminist
alternative.
Marxist
criti-
theory. Okay.
I'm not going to
All
critical
right.
discrimination.
We can talk about it later. But what?
No,
just a sentence. What the Marxist theory here would say is that however much you try to rationalize your discrimination, it's still discrimination.
I'm sorry.
It's still discrimination.
Right.
However you try to rationalize it,
Okay.
it still hints at your own prejudices. Because if you think, okay, this woman's going to get pregnant,
Right.
and I'm going to lose her for 9 months, a male could have an accident. The possibility, the probability of a male having an accident might be the same as a woman getting pregnant. But you still, because you're prejudiced, you keep thinking of women as birth machines, you tend not to women.
I tend to
So far
agree.
it is all theoretical, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
I mean, so far it is only theoretical. I mean, you are saying that there could be some rational discrimination. You are not saying that in this particular
Example.
instance it was the rational discrimination. So, I mean, theoretically one can accept that. Okay, there are probably some rational
Okay,
discrimination.
Muslim fasting is much easier to discuss, right? There is no uncertainty
Okay,
about it.
there is another kind of analysis to that, and that is if you really believe that Muslims are legitimate citizens of the country,
Okay,
you're gonna
I don't have to
instead of
take care of them.
no, that's
I have McDonald's. I need to serve people. I don't
I
care.
know what you're saying. Okay, this is gonna get very long.
No, go ahead. It's an interesting discussion. Take your time.
I'd rather talk to you. Okay, I'm afraid this might take a little bit of time, but if you really consider them legitimate citizens, you're going to try to come up with other solutions to this problem rather than turning them down right there when you're trying to hire them. If they're
Let me ask you a question. Let's say you are a dean of a department in UT, right? Would you go to hire the best professors ever, or you say, okay, there is this guy got a PhD from North Dakota and doesn't know anything, but they're legitimate citizens. Why do I have to prefer some?
no, I'm really
It's a matter of qualifications and productivity,
Well,
after all.
as far as you try to integrate your expectations, you're trying to sort of convict people before they've actually acted. You try to integrate your own prejudices into your classification criteria. That is not like legitimate criteria. Because if you have a test, if you test all of them, that professor in that faraway village, you test him the same way that you test Ivy League professors. That's an prejudice, not like judging him beforehand.
Okay.
A priori.
Okay, if there was a contract between an employer and a woman, saying, okay, I know that the chances that you get pregnant is the same as somebody get hit by a car. So, if somebody gets hit by a car, this is my contract, I'm saying it this way, and doesn't work for me, I don't pay you. And if you get pregnant and you're out of work, I don't pay you. Besides, because I've incurred some cost to educate you the way I want, I will charge you 3 months of your extra, more than when you're absent. Then that would be a fair contract.
Of course. Just in case, having that, men who have an accident are subject to
Of
the
course,
same.
yeah.
Yes, that's
Do you agree?
I guess I
You
know what
can
you mean.
incorporate everything into the contract.
Of course you can.
Indeed, when you said Marxist, I expected even deeper critical position on that because you can say,
no.
the whole position the society gives you, the role defined. But that's-
I know what that is.
But even in this framework, I know it's an endless discussion because you can always rationalize discriminations and you say, okay, you can control contract on that. Still, there are things on the very, very back which you cannot make explicit.
No, it still sucks. I mean, I'd rather everybody would have equal opportunities, but we want to have a functional system that is as fair as possible.
I guess we agree on that. And I put this vicious circle right after this item. Say that, okay, if you continue this rational discrimination, somehow it's reproduces itself. Because you rationally discriminate people, so they are excluded from the market, their abilities will be lower the next period, and then, they just reproduce this inequality, reproduces the